there because I know
Yeah.
he's still in the group.
Yeah.
And that was the very last testimonial I watched before my phone call. And I was like, I gotta do it.
It's so crazy that you're on the other side. But anyway, I press record. So,
Okay.
um, hmm. Oh, I'm not going to do an intro. Okay. Can you start off by telling us where you were at in business or in life before we started working together?
Yeah. So I was working at a group studio fitness called F45. I hadn't started my online business. I wanted to though. Just I felt pretty burnt out at the gym. It was like what felt like even just 30 hours a week would bleed more into 40 to 50. And I was putting everything into it. I'm a big, give it your all when you do things. And it just wasn't, I didn't feel like it matched well with how I was being compensated. I mean, it felt like I was living paycheck to paycheck in a sense
Mm-hmm.
for 40-hour weeks. My paycheck would maybe be 2 grand
Mm-hmm.
tops for 2 weeks of work where I've spent literally physical effort in, and it just wasn't sustainable for where I was living at. So
Yeah.
I just felt very overworked, and I guess not appreciated money wise financially.
Hmm. Gotcha. Um, how did you find us in the first place?
I so found it through my girlfriend was she had found y'all, but I believe it was through one of the ads kind of popped up,
Yeah.
and she had taken her call and she had scheduled a follow up one, and she felt like she wasn't ready, so I swooped in.
That within like, oh, how many days did you know of us before you even got on the call and joined?
Let's see, she had told me about it, and then I think she had scheduled her call like 5 days later,
Uh-huh.
and within I think the day before, so 4 days later, after knowing about y'all, she's like she didn't want to do it, and I was like, I want this spot. I want to see what it's about.
And then when you got on the call, did you like check out a bunch of our stuff, or did you go on the call thinking like, oh, I have no idea what this is?
I went on the call. I did my research. I actually looked at a few of your free trainings. I clicked on one of the ads after hearing it that had like one of the free trainings.
Mm.
Went through quite a few of those. It was like 3 hours worth of content, and then I watched the testimonials. Then I got on the call.
Nice. Okay. So let's kind of go through like what happened on the call and stuff like that, because for you, I think you spoke to our advisor for like ages and you were really uncertain about it. So what was your kind of thought process behind jumping in? Were you nervous, scared? Not really.
I guess jumping in, I was definitely nervous. I felt like I already had needed to kind of, I guess, make a change to things. So I was that one that was like assuming the price beforehand as best as I could.
Mhm.
Get on the call, and I got to talk to Bill, and he really like made me feel, I don't know, it felt real. He put things in a good perspective for me, and I was very nervous, and I heard the price, and it got to the point where I didn't know what to do because I was nervous about, kind of investing. And then I guess the one thing I think I heard from Bill that really hit hard is I told him I was nervous, and he said, it's okay. It's pressure. Like you're supposed to be feeling it. Diamonds form under pressure. And for some reason, I was like, I'm going. I'm in. I wanted to be the diamond. I wanted to take a risk. At least if I'm going to take a risk on anything, why not on myself?
Yeah, I love that. What were you nervous about specifically?
More so money. I think money was a big part because I've never invested money like that at all into anything. I'm a pretty simple liver. And then I guess everybody always has their doubts, Uh, just thinking if I pay for this and it doesn't work, what could happen, instead of thinking, well, what if I pay for this and it does work?
Hmm. And for you, you just decided to like, well, not hope, but bank on the fact that like if you don't try, you never know, and that the upside was bigger than the downside, even though it was risky.
Yeah, and I guess it was more of like, where are you at right now? You know, you want to change, but it's like for the past year you've been working at this gym and you're not, it's just not sustainable. So if nothing changes, nothing changes, you know, not to be cliche with those quotes,
Yeah.
but it was just like something's got to change, and if I want something different, I have to do something different.
Yeah, because you were working at a gym for quite a long time.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that you're kind of living paycheck to paycheck. The hours wasn't worth the compensation. So, I mean, what happened specifically that made you feel like, hey, look, like now was the time? Was it a specific event after that year?
Yeah, so I'd gotten promoted at the time to the head trainer at the gym. It was basically I just ran the gym and I trained, and it was legit. At that point, it was legit. I was there probably 70 hours a week. And I had done in-person sales there, and I closed the sale for, I think in one day I'd made $4,000 for the gym. It was
Mm,
all paid schools, and I got $0 of that.
uh,
And I remember going home thinking, what am I doing? I mean, I just made 4 grand for the gym and I get nothing out of that, you know? And it's just, it wasn't, I couldn't, that for me is what pushed me over.
I love that. And so let's compare that to now. Uh, let's start with what people are probably thinking. Like, how much did you make? What's the monthly revenue? What's your price point?
Yeah. So I had started out, I've, in the time now, what, it's been 10 weeks probably. I've made $15,900 in revenue. Now I'll sell anywhere between, I started off at 1,500, I guess, for my low side, but now I'll sell anywhere from 18 to 2,400 depending on what I'm doing per
Mm,
client. And it
nice,
all comes to me.
nice. That's huge.
Yeah, that was just, it was really crazy to get the first sale and just to like see the money go in, and it's like,
Yeah.
huh, what have I been doing with my life?
Do you remember when you got the first sale? Like how many days after we started?
It was within the first 2 weeks. I believe it was like day 8.
Mm,
I'd gotten a message on Facebook after applying literally exactly what to do, which I feel like a monkey could do it. You just got to do it, you know? And it just worked out. It was, and what was really crazy was it was my very first call, I think, was my sale.
mhm.
And based off the content and stuff I had put out, it was like the person was wanting to do it. It was kind of mine to lose.
Because you were in when you started, you were starting from ground zero online, right? Like you were a trainer, but you didn't actually do any marketing online or even attempt it, right? So
I Yeah.
that's a really good time frame. And then at what point or how many weeks in did you quit your job?
Let's see. I think it was, I quit 3 weeks ago. So 6 week after my first sale, I had thought about it. I got my like second sale 3 weeks in, I think, or less than that. I had made in the first month of doing it, I had doubled what I had made at work in that month easily. And I had already been, I should have quit then, put in my 2 weeks, but then it took me another 3 weeks to like, I guess since you guys kind of was like, hey, you're making like 5 times more than you're making there, and it's not bringing you anything. So what are you doing? And it
Yeah.
just kind of, I needed to go.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are kind of in that mindset, or not mindset, but that place where they're not sure when to quit their job. Do you mind sharing like your thought process behind when you decided to actually hand in your resignation? What did you say to your boss? Things like that.
Yeah. So I think, let's see, I was like at 8 grand um that I had collected, and it came down to, I'm spending, I kept reducing my hours because I was making more money for my online business, to
Mhm.
the point where I was just spending probably 10 hours of clocked in work at work, which
Yep.
bled, more into like 15, 20. And it was just like the time I was putting in here was making me like $500. Imagine if I could put 20 more hours into my business, what that would do when in 45 minutes on a call, I can make $2,400.
Mhm.
And I use that same example to my boss, and they were like, I get it. And it was just like, it went really smooth, which was
Yeah.
really weird too. Is I don't think no one could really argue the facts of the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you're full time online.
Mhm.
So what advice do you have for people who were in a similar position as you?
Yeah, I guess my big thing is if you want something you've never had, you're gonna have to do something you've never done. Um, yeah,
That's deep.
yeah. It was
That's
just
good.
sometimes you just gotta, another good quote I like is you gotta run before you walk. And if you're in the moment, I've always been the one like, sit back and think. I'm a big thinker in things, but when it came to, I had known the decision, and if I would have sat back and waited, typically I talk myself out of it, and I think other people would. And sometimes you just got to leap, because I had a lot of people too when I was telling them, because I had done a call beforehand for another coach,
Uh-huh.
and they kind of talked me out of it. They're like, "Why would you do that? Those things?" And it's like, I need to better my life, and I just felt like nobody really saw the value in me in doing that. So it was just like, if I'm going to do this, I need to take the lead now, because this is the only way it's going to work.
What do you mean by someone talks you out of it?
I had just been, I went, so the first coaching call I had with someone, call went really well. And I was really thinking about doing it, and I would go to, your social support, friends, family. And I felt like I'd explained the situation, and it was like, could be really beneficial, but everybody was kind of on that fence of, but the money, what if you spend that? And I didn't want to be in that mind space of, what if it goes wrong? Why wasn't anybody thinking, what if it goes right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I felt like on the call. It's like, what if this goes right? And you just got to leap. I just had to take the jump. I didn't want to talk myself out of it, and I didn't want somebody else to talk me out of it.
I love it. So what last words do you have for anyone who might be listening?
Yeah. You know, it's it's not going to be easy, but it's really doable. It's all a mindset, and I think you and your whole team have laid out exactly what you have to do, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you do it, it will pay off. And it's proven. It's not like I'm the first one to do it. It's got a whole group of people, and it's very real, that have done it. You just got to do it. You just got to kind of commit to yourself and to the process, which has already been laid out and made. If you follow it, it works.
Hmm. Love that. So final question, where can people find you and check you out?
I am on Instagram and Facebook. You can just probably type in Teddy Hoffman on either one, and you'll find me. But I will be there posting, helping out, showing results of clients. And if you're in the Austin area, that's where I'm at.
Cool. All right, Teddy, thank you for doing this. Guys, make sure you check him out.
Thank you.